My beloved child, do not rush past this moment. Do not scroll. Do not tell yourself you will come back later. This is the hinge, the breath between what has been and what is now being set in motion for you. I have called an appointment you did not put on your calendar, an appointment you did not see coming, and I am asking you to hold still long enough to receive the alert. This moment is not ordinary. It is an interruption by design, a gentle arresting of your pace, because a sudden reversal is being scheduled with your name on it, and I will not allow you to miss it through distraction. Hear me. The reversal is not random excitement or a burst of optimism that fades with the next notification. It is being scheduled. Even now there is movement in a realm you cannot see. Papers being pulled from files where dust once settled. Signatures being prepared on decrees already drafted. Angels dispatched to stir what men left stagnant. What was meant to hold you down will be repurposed to lift you up. What they intended as a trap is being converted into a platform. I am speaking this before you can see it, so that when you do see it, you will not call it coincidence. You will call it my faithfulness. The appointed time has a sound, and I am letting you hear the first clicks of its countdown. I see you the way you have learned to smile while you quietly carry questions that you are tired of asking. I see you standing at the sink, at the desk, in the car, whispering to your own heart, "Will anything actually change for me?" I see the late nights where hope feels like a fragile glass. You are afraid to touch because every time you have held it up before, someone bumped your elbow and it shattered again. I see the little win that was followed by the larger delay, the promise you believed in that seemed to stretch beyond reason, and the silent fear that you may be the exception to breakthrough. My child, I draw near to speak not as a critic, but as your father. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Awakening is my kindness to you right now. To awaken, I must touch the places you have put to sleep because it hurt to hope there. To awaken, I must call by name the fatigue you have baptized as realism, the caution you have named wisdom that is sometimes only the residue of disappointment. To awaken, I must remind you, delay is not the evidence of abandonment. It is the space in which I reshape your wings before you fly. What you called waiting without purpose, I have called alignment for a very specific moment. That moment is approaching. Do not confuse my timing with indifference. I have been meticulous with you. So listen to the sound of the countdown I am placing in your spirit. The first tone says, behind the scenes, systems are shifting. There are rooms you have not entered where your name is being discussed. There are conversations you were excluded from that are now being revisited with fresh wind upon them. There are locks that have long resisted a key, and I am producing a master key with your identity engraved upon it. The second tone says, there are things that must stop today. Panic must stop. Self-accusation must stop. The quiet agreement you have made with labels that do not come from me must stop. Quit rehearsing the future you fear as if it were prophecy. It is not. The third tone says, prepare to receive. Make room. Clear the clutter of your schedule, the clutter of your language, the clutter of your inner vows that say, I will never expect much again. You asked me to open a door. I am answering by building a hallway. Walk it with me. Do not be surprised if, as you listen, you feel a mixture of trembling and relief. Trembling because your soul remembers every time it risked hope. Relief because my voice breaks the pattern of silence. I am not avoiding your life. I am addressing it. I am not standing at a distance. I am so near you could feel even the sigh that leaves my lips when I call you blessed. You have wondered if I would come through for others and leave you for later. Hear me. I am not late. I am intentional. I am not indifferent. I am invested. And what I am scheduling now is not a small correction. It is a reversal that turns the story's direction. Pause with me here. Breathe. Put your hand over your heart and agree with me. I will not miss my appointment. Let your fingers write down a declaration wherever you can see it, even in the comments if you must. I agree with the reversal. I break agreement with fear. I will not rush past my appointment. Go ahead and like this message as a sign that you are marking this moment, not for an algorithm, but as an altar. Small outward agreements open space for large inward shifts. You have felt like time was your enemy, too slow when you prayed, too fast when you stumbled. I am redeeming your time. I am adjusting the tempo of your days to the cadence of heaven, so that what once slipped through your fingers will now be placed into your hands with ease. This is why I arrest your pace now. If you keep rushing the way you have rushed, you would arrive at the open door out of breath, half present, and talking yourself out of stepping through. But if you will steady now, you will cross the threshold with clarity, with authority, with the calm of one who knows they were expected all along. Listen, my beloved child, I am initiating a sequence you prayed for on nights when no one heard you but me. You asked for a sign that you were not forgotten. This is your sign. You asked for a word that would cut through the fog. These are your words. You asked for a reason to hope again. I am your reason. The sudden reversal is being scheduled, and I want your spirit awake enough to hear when I say, now. There will be more I will show you about names and labels, about cycles and locks, about what to stop and how to prepare, but first, do not move. Receive the alert. Let peace settle on you like a mantle. Let anticipation rise without anxiety. Open your heart because the countdown has begun, and I will teach you how to stand ready so that when the door swings, you are already walking. Now anchor your heart to what I have already spoken, because my word is not a wish. It is a legal foundation, a record that cannot be overruled. You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring about that many would be kept alive. Genesis 50:20. Hear it again, slowly, because the blueprint is inside the sentence. Human intent may gather like clouds, but my intention outranks, outlasts, and overturns every plot. They meant harm, I meant good. They meant to cut you off, I meant to set you apart. They meant to silence, I meant to position you to speak life. The same event, two intentions, and mine prevails. Consider Joseph, not as a distant tale, but as a mirror for your own journey. A robe was placed on him. Favor visible, provoking jealousy he did not choose. He was thrown into a pit, sold for silver, carried into a land whose language he did not speak, and placed in a house he did not plan to manage. In that house he prospered, and in that prosperity he was lied about, accused of what he did not do, and chained for a crime that never occurred. In the prison he interpreted dreams, and even then the one he helped forgot him when the door opened for himself. Delay upon delay, misunderstanding upon misunderstanding, and yet every step that seemed to bury him was actually placing him on a conveyor belt toward the exact coordinates of his calling. Until the time that my word came to pass, the word tested him. Psalm 105:19. My beloved child, what you called detour was me preparing the very road. Do not mishear me. Reversal is not denial of pain. Joseph wept. He asked questions. He felt the sting. I am not asking you to pretend that the pit did not bruise your bones, that the dungeon did not smell like hopelessness, that the betrayal did not carve your trust. I tell you the truth so you will understand the miracle I am doing. I do not erase your story. I reassign it. I take what tried to brand you with shame and turn it into evidence of endurance. I take what was used to reduce you and make it the leverage that lifts you. I take the chain and make it the credential. I take the years the locusts consumed and make them the very reason why, when you stand in the palace, you will not be intoxicated by the platform or destroyed by the promotion. Romans 8:28 is not a slogan, it is a structure. I am working all things together for your good, because you love me and are called according to purpose. Hear me carefully. What they meant for harm will serve you. The pit they pushed you into taught you the map of low places, so you can rescue others without condescension. The false accusation forced you to anchor your identity in my voice, not in public opinion, so you cannot be flattered off your assignment nor shamed out of it. The delay refined your speech so that when you finally speak, kings listen, boards pivot, contracts shift, and whole families are fed. Joseph did not stand in Pharaoh's court pretending the pit never happened. He stood there with the pit inside his testimony, and that testimony became the reason he was trusted to steward grain for nations. My child, I am converting your history into authority. Look at your own pages. Your pit season may not have looked like a literal hole in the ground, but you know the sensation. The rejection letter that arrived after hope had already packed a suitcase. The interview where your competence was ignored. The invoice that lingered unpaid until your dignity felt as thin as your bank account. The partnership that turned into sabotage. The rumor that turned friends into strangers. The diagnosis that drained your savings and your sleep. The messages left unread by the one who promised to stand by you. Do not bury these chapters as though they are evidence that I abandoned you. Place them in my hands because I am reassigning them. The unpaid bill will become the altar where you learn overflow. The dismissal will become the precise experience that trains you to build what you were never meant to beg for. The slander will become insulation for your heart, teaching you to live from my verdict, not the noise of shifting rooms. What is reversal? Listen and write it on the tablets of your heart. Reversal is not escape. It is enthronement over the very terrain that once tormented you. Reversal is when the courtroom papers that named you guilty by rumor are compelled to name you trusted by fruit. Reversal is when the schedule that once ran you ragged now bends to the cadence of your purpose, because I redeemed your time. Reversal is when the night watch where you learn to worship in whispers becomes the morning platform where the same voice carries strategy. Reversal is when the debt that strangled your sleep teaches you to steward, to plan, to multiply, and you become a distribution point, not merely a survivor. Reversal is not me pretending the enemy never attacked. It is me taking the weapons formed against you and forging them into keys that open doors no man can shut. Do not let bitterness counterfeit discernment. Do not let shame rename you. Your brothers may have torn the robe, but they did not take the dream. The dungeon may have closed its door, but it could not close my word. The delay may have slowed your steps, but it synchronized your heart with mine. In Joseph's mouth, the sentence became a verdict over history. You meant, God meant. Two meanings. One sovereign outcome. My purpose stood. My grace navigated every alleyway, every accusation, every silent year, and when I opened the appointed door, it did not creak with hesitation. It swung wide with inevitability. I am the same today with you. My hand has not shortened. My counsel has not weakened. My child, I have prepared a portion with your name, and I am training your soul, so you do not mistake it for a mirage when it arrives. Now agree with me in a way your ears can hear. Let your mouth be the pen that writes this in the atmosphere of your own life. Genesis 50:20 is my blueprint. What was meant for harm will serve me. God intends my good for the saving of many. Go ahead and let your fingers write it where your eyes will see it later. Write it in the comments, write it in your notes, put it on your mirror. Like this message, not to feed an algorithm, but to mark an altar, as if you were placing a stone by the river and naming the crossing. When you express faith, you signal heaven's courts that you are in agreement with the decree already standing over you. And as you declare, I will open your memory the way I opened Joseph's, not to torture you with what was, but to translate it into wisdom for what is coming. The pit will explain your compassion. The chains will explain your boundaries. The false accusation will explain your clean processes. The forgotten favor will explain why you honor, even when it is not returned. I am not merely comforting you, I am constructing you. I am shaping a life that can carry grain for many in a season of famine, a life that does not leak under pressure, a life that does not crumble when applause fades or intensifies. Delay has done its holy work. Now reversal will do its holy work. My beloved child, Genesis 50:20 is your proof, your precedent, your pattern. Study it like a map, because it traces the path I am walking you through. What they meant for harm will serve you. What darkness calculated will become raw material in my hands. What a human system tried to shut will become the door I open. Hold this word in your mouth as we move forward, because I am about to show you why the battle around you felt invisible and how to stand when the noise rises. For now, breathe, stand, and agree. The blueprint of reversal is active over my life, and no intention of man will outrank the intention of God. My beloved child, now let me peel back the thin veil between what you call real life and what has been operating just beyond your line of sight. You thought it was merely bad timing, merely unfortunate coincidences, merely the way things go for people like you. But hear me, you are walking through an invisible battlefield. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you, to put steel in your spine and clarity in your eyes, so that you do not surrender while standing at the very edge of your shift. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, Ephesians 6:12, and that is why your discernment must rise now, because your fight has never been against a boss, a bill, a rumor, or a calendar. It has been against a resistance that fears your appointed time. Consider the pattern you have seen and tried to shrug off. Miracles that hover close, promises that come to the brink of delivery, meetings that go brilliantly and then go silent, checks that are in processing forever, approvals that read pending in the system, while your soul waits like a traveler at a gate that never opens. This is miracle suspension, not denial, not dismissal, but a tactic to make your heart so weary that you stop showing up at the counter the day your name is called. In the courts of heaven there is a decree with your name etched upon it, and the enemy cannot erase it, so he tries to exhaust you before it manifests. He draws your eyes to the clock until seconds feel like accusations. He pushes almost after almost like a fog that trains you to expect disappointment more than you expect deliverance. But I am exposing this tactic right now because I will not allow you to train your hope to limp. Listen and remember, Daniel prayed and the answer was sent on the first day, yet there was delay in the unseen until the appointed help broke through. Daniel 10:12-13. There was a word traveling, there were powers contending, there was an answer halfway through a corridor of resistance, and the prophet's persistence partnered with heaven's insistence. So when you feel a promise hanging just beyond your fingertips, do not accuse me of indifference. Stand with me in insistence. Your almosts have been evidence of motion, not proof of my absence. Your calendar has trembled under the weight of appointments already written in heaven. Your emails and applications have been tugged by more forces than human preference. I am telling you this now so that when the noise rises at the doorway, you do not mistake it for a closed door. You recognize it as the sound of hinges under pressure. Name with me the places the battle has raged, so you stop swinging at shadows and start standing in authority. Your finances, the ledger that never seemed to match your labor, the bills that arrived stacked like accusations, the surprise expenses that marched in just as you tried to save. This has been not only cold numbers but a silent conflict where darkness tries to exchange promise for panic. Your reputation, the whispered narrative that appears where you are not. The quiet doubt that tries to stain your name in rooms you have not entered. The misinterpretations that multiplied while you were asleep. This has been an attempt to preempt your influence by muddying your credibility, your family stability, the tension that erupts over small things, the miscommunication that makes love feel like labor, the weariness that makes you want to retreat instead of repair. This has been pressure applied to the place where your legacy is forged. Your identity, the labels that cling like burrs, the internal voice that repeats old accusations in a tone that mimics your own, the temptation to rename yourself average, late, too much, not enough. This has been the enemy's favorite gate to padlock. And your peace, the nights stretched thin, the morning mind already in a sprint, the inability to breathe deeply even in quiet rooms. This has been his attempt to keep your spirit from hearing me when I say, now. Do not despise your sensitivity, sanctify it. When your stomach tightens 2 steps from favor, when your emails glitch precisely at a submission deadline, when arguments appear in the hour you're preparing for a meeting that matters, do not spiral, discern. Say aloud, this is not random. I refuse to be bullied out of blessing. Then do practical things in faith, calmly and decisively. Resend the file, pick up the phone, walk away from the provocation, pray in the Spirit, and return to the task. Exodus 14:14 lives in this posture. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. And stillness here does not mean inactivity. It means aligned activity, free from panic, in step with my instruction. I am placing a guard at the gate of your mouth because the battlefield has loved your words. When you say, it always goes like this for me, you sign the package for the very cycle you hate. When you declare, I knew they would forget me, you volunteer to live in a story I never wrote. Let your language pivot now. Speak as one who has seen behind the curtain and decided not to bow to the puppeteer. Say, what has been suspended must land. What was delayed must be delivered. What hovered will be placed into my hands without sorrow. Proverbs 18:21 is not quaint. It is jurisdiction. Your words are how you hold the line until the scheduled release finds you standing, not slumped. Hear my assurance in the middle of this. I am not exposing the battlefield to make you suspicious of everyone or everything. I am exposing it to make you skillful. I am teaching you to distinguish between genuine red lights I give for protection and counterfeit stop signs planted to make you detour from destiny. I will train you with small signals, a peace that rests when you are meant to proceed, a holy hesitation when you must pause. Psalm 27:14 still stands. Wait for the Lord, be strong, and let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord, and in your waiting I am not wasting you. I am weaponizing your patience so that you become a nightmare to the powers that counted on your impatience. Let me be plain. Your reversal has already entered the room in the invisible, so distraction is the enemy's last play. You will see odd flares of irritation, strange delays at the point of printing, confusing emails that misstate what you wrote, small financial leaks that tempt you to say, what's the point of even trying? Recognize the pattern, refuse the invitation, and keep your hands on the assignment. Angels have been dispatched to retrieve records with your name, to uncover approvals buried under new piles, to stir memories in those who owe you responses, to compel systems to honor what has been legally decreed in heaven's court. Isaiah 59:1, Psalm 103:20. Your role is not to micromanage my messengers. Your role is to agree, to remain steady, to catch what I am placing. Go ahead and let your fingers write this where you can see it later, even in the comments as an altar. I will not surrender on the edge of my shift. What seemed like bad timing is unseen resistance, and I stand, like this message, as a sign that you are shifting from confusion to clarity, from panic to posture. Share this word with one person who is living in almost, because when you open a window for them, you open a wider window over your own house. And breathe, my child. I am closer than your breath, and I am not nervous about this battle. I am not wringing my hands over your timelines. I am tightening your grip on mine. You will not miss your moment. The same hand that held Joseph in the pit and the palace is holding you between the almost and the arrived. I am exposing the invisible not to make you paranoid, but to make you precise. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your language clean. Keep your steps in peace, and you will watch, soon and without strain, how the suspended becomes settled, how what hovered descends, how what you called bad timing resolves into the precise choreography of your appointed time. My beloved child, lean in and let me name what this season has truly been. Delay is not the evidence of abandonment. It is the space in which I reshape your wings before you fly. What you called waiting, I called aligning. What you experienced as a paused screen, I was using as a quiet workshop. I do not hang a roof in the air. I lay a foundation before I build a house. I do not strap engines to a paper frame. I temper the metal so that thrust does not tear the craft apart mid-ascent. Isaiah 40:31 is not poetic fluff. It is physics of the spirit. Those who wait upon me exchange their strength for mine. They mount up with wings like eagles because the waiting restructured the wings. Hear me gently and firmly. You asked me for weight, for influence, for provision, for doors only I can open, and I heard you. But blessing without structure becomes burden, and I love you too much to answer your prayer in a way that would crush you. So I have been building inside of you what the outside increase requires. Wisdom to read rooms and read timing, boundaries that guard your peace and your schedule, discipline that keeps you from leaking your strength through the cracks of impulse, humility that bends when the wind shifts, so you do not snap under applause or accusation. Luke 16:10 still governs your momentum, faithful in little, ruler over much. And I have been making you faithful, not to deny you, but to ensure that much does not become a snare. Consider the ways I have formed you, when you thought I had forgotten you. When a door you wanted refused to open, I was not rejecting you. I was reserving you from a room that would have offered you visibility without covering, flattery without covenant, opportunity without oxygen for your soul. When the transfer did not hit your account on the day you expected, I taught you how to budget as worship, stewardship as warfare, planning as prayer, so that when the streams multiply, you do not drown in your own increase. When a promotion stalled, I sharpened your processes, cleaned your corners, refined your language, and taught you to lead without title, so that when the title arrives, it will have a leader to sit upon, not a needy child searching the room for validation. When relationships shifted and certain hands pulled back, it was not abandonment, it was surgery. I was cutting away alliances that looked like support but would have leaked your oil the moment the light hit you. John 15 pruning has never been punishment. It is proof of fruitfulness. It is time to confront the two stories you have told yourself in the night and choose the one I am writing. One story sighs, God forgot me. Perhaps I am not chosen. Perhaps I misheard. The other story stands and says, God is preparing me. What looks quiet is formation. What feels slow is precision. What seems like silence is the sound of scaffolding set in place. Habakkuk 2:3 sits between them like a judge. The vision is for an appointed time. Though it tarries, wait for it. It will surely come. it will not delay. One interpretation makes you passive and bitter. The other makes you patient and sharp. Choose with your mouth what you will believe with your heart, because your words are steering the vessel. Let me show you how thorough I have been. I trained your ears in silence so that you will not be seduced by noise. I trained your hands with repetitive excellence so that quality would be instinct, not performance. I trained your no to be a holy word so that your yes can be powerful. I trained your emotions to feel and not flood you so that pressure does not trick you into bargains beneath your calling. I trained your calendar to bend to purpose, Sabbath as strategy, margin as ministry, so that when meetings multiply, you do not lose me in the maze. I trained your finances to answer to vision, Proverbs 24:27. Prepare your work outside, get everything ready in the field, and after that build your house, so that you do not decorate a structure that cannot stand a storm. I trained you to forgive quickly so that offense cannot anchor you at the threshold. I trained you to ask for help so that pride cannot isolate you when the room expands. Do you see it? Delay has not been me holding you at arm's length. It has been me holding you close enough to rewire reflexes that would sabotage you under spotlight. The cocoon is not a coffin, it is a construction site. The kiln is not a cremation, it is a cure that hardens the vessel so it can hold hot oil without cracking. The scaffolding that blocked the view was not a cage. It was a signal that I am building something taller. I am laying foundation upon foundation, identity, integrity, intimacy, so that when the wind of reversal fills your sails, your mast does not splinter. Listen to yourself now compared to then. Once minor delays undid you. Now you notice, you breathe, you adjust. Once compliments intoxicated you. Now you receive them and return your eyes to me. Once scarcity made you grab. Now you plan, you sow, you steward. Once you chased rooms. Now rooms are learning to find you. These are the fingerprints of formation. This is why, when the door swings, you will not dazzle and then disappear. You will dwell, you will build, you will distribute, you will endure. I also want you to release the shame you carried because of the slowness you misread. You called yourself late, behind, too old, too inexperienced, too unseen. I call you right on time, seasoned, precisely positioned. 1 Peter 5:6 remains, my whisper over you. Humble yourselves under my mighty hand, and in due time I will lift you. Due time is not random time. It is the moment when the container and the content match. I have been matching you, not mocking you. Every closed door that preserved you, every quiet Tuesday where you learned faithfulness with no observers, every budget line that forced you to prioritize, every boundary that cost you a friend but kept you sane, these were me, the father and the builder, protecting the future you prayed for from the present you were not yet ready to carry. So hear me clearly. If delay has been preparation, then reversal is not a surprise to heaven. It is a scheduled unveiling. It will feel sudden to those who watched you in the hallway and called it failure. It will feel like exhale to you because your muscles have already learned the movement. The forces that resisted you will act alarmed. You will be calm. Systems will stutter, then submit. You will be steady, because the lifting will not arrive to a hollow frame. It will settle upon a soul furnished with wisdom, boundaries, discipline, humility, furniture built in the quiet and ready now for company. Open your mouth and agree with me so that your heart hears you partner with truth. Say, delay is not abandonment. I was being formed. My wings have been reshaped. I receive the strength to soar without strain. Write it where your eyes will find it again, on your notes, in the comments as an altar, on a page taped to your mirror, like this message as a marker, not for vanity but as a stake in the ground. Today, I rename my waiting, Share it with the one who keeps calling themselves behind and become a witness to the wisdom of my timing. Now breathe. Let the accusation of forgotten fall off your shoulders like an old coat. Feel the quiet weight of readiness I have placed within you. The countdown you hear is not a tease. It is timing coming due. I have laid the foundation. I have inspected the frame. I have tested the systems. And as we turn into the next movement, you will see how quickly a long-prepared house can rise when the scaffolding comes down. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your language aligned. Keep your steps unhurried and sure, because what I am about to open will not ask you to become someone else. It will reveal who I have been building all along. My beloved child, now we address the hinge on which so many doors have turned without opening your name. Not the syllables others pronounce, but the identity you carry like a signature in the unseen. Your name, the identity you agree with, either opens the way for miracles or unconsciously locks shut the very door I am standing ready to push wide. What you wear internally becomes a keycard in the spirit. If it is engraved with the verdicts I spoke, chosen, clean, trusted, prepared, doors read it and respond. If it is stamped with accusations, marks that do not come from me, those labels function like silent contracts, authorizing delay, permitting limitation, and convincing you to live beneath decrees already issued on your behalf. Hear me. The battle has not only been about money, opportunity, or visibility. It has been about your name. Proverbs 22:1 whispers a secret the enemy hates. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches, because the name governs the flow of riches, honor, and access. Isaiah 62:2 sits like a banner over you. You shall be called by a new name that the mouth of the Lord will give. When I rename, I realign. When I speak identity, I unbolt doors. Abram became Abraham and walked into covenant breadth. Sarai became Sarah and carried laughter in her arms. Jacob became Israel and limped into a lineage he could not swindle, only receive. I am doing this with you. I am reaching into the filing cabinet of the unseen, pulling your record to the top and writing across it in bold, name restored. First, we must expose the forgeries you have been asked to sign. I have heard the labels that tried to stick to your soul and stain your expectations. Untrustworthy, behind, too late, always struggling, not enough, the one who loses. These do not come from me. They are not descriptors. They are devices. They aim not only to insult you, but to instruct you, to teach you how to decide against yourself. When you carry untrustworthy like a watermark, you over-explain, you underbid, you volunteer to be audited by every room you enter, and so you shrink when you should stand. When behind hums beneath your breath, you rush past wisdom, you compare with despair, you grasp at what does not fit, and you call it hustle while your peace bleeds out. When too late becomes your internal headline, you skip applications, you delete drafts, you sit in the parking lot and talk yourself out of walking in because what's the use? When always struggling writes your prayers, you ask for survival, not strategy. You brace for disappointment while calling it realism, and your negotiations are apologies wrapped in words. When not enough narrates your mornings, you tolerate disrespect. You ignore red flags. You over-deliver for underpayment. You accept crumbs at tables I never sent you to. And when the one who loses feels familiar, you pre-grieve instead of prepare. You celebrate others with sincerity, but secretly exclude yourself from the possibility of the same joy, as if favor has a quota, and your name is not on the list. I love you too much to let you continue in these contracts. Revelation 2:17 speaks of a stone with a name only you and I know. That is how intimate I am with your identity. The accuser, however, shouts public labels, hoping you will nod in agreement. Agreement is access. Agreement is authorization. Amos 3:3 asks, "Can two walk together unless they agree?" If you walk with accusation, it walks you to locked doors and says, "See? Proof." But if you shift agreement, if you break contract with shame and sign your soul to what I have spoken, you will watch the same hallway behave differently under your feet. Let me show you how labels have been making decisions for you, so that you can take the pen back. They have influenced what you tolerate, conversations that diminish you, workloads that burn you, timelines that abuse you. They have shaped what you apply for. You screen yourself out before a gatekeeper ever reads your name. You laugh off opportunities because you assume the real candidates are in another category. They have trained how you negotiate. You offer discounts before you are asked. You apologize for excellence. You sandwich your rate between nervous laughter and contingency plans. They have scripted how you pray, timid, thin, bargaining for scraps. When Hebrews 4:16 invites you to come boldly to the throne of grace, they have edited your expectation of outcomes. You brace for almost. You prepare for loss. You mislabel favor as too good to be true and talk yourself back into desserts I already led you out of. This is why reversal begins at the level of your name. What you call yourself will either escort you into the open door or talk you out of even turning the handle. So hear my decree over you now and let it thunder louder than the whispers. I call you faithful. I call you trusted. I call you in time. I call you wise. I call you equipped. I call you chosen. I call you resourced. I call you rising. John 1:12 stands as legal language. To all who received him, he gave the right to become children of God. Child is not a placeholder, it is jurisdiction. As my child, you carry my name, and my name overrules other names. Isaiah 54:4 still sings, "Do not be afraid, you will not be put to shame, not because you performed perfectly, but because I have placed my honor upon you, and where honor rests, doors recognize ownership." Now we act. Break agreement with the forgeries. Say aloud, so your own ears become witnesses. I reject the label untrustworthy. I reject behind. I reject too late, always struggling, not enough, and the one who loses. These do not come from my Father. I agree with heaven's verdict. My name is restored. I am trusted, timely, equipped, and favored in the Lord. Go ahead and let your fingers write it where your eyes will find it again. Write, "My name is restored," in the comments as an altar, in your notes on a slip of paper in your wallet. Like this message as a sign that you are stamping this day on your record. Contract broken, identity aligned. Share this word with the one who calls themselves behind, and in doing so, you will hammer this truth deeper into your own soul. As you renounce the forgeries, you will feel practical shifts, because identity is not theory, it is traction. You will start withdrawing from conversations that require you to be less, to be loved. You will submit applications that once terrified you, not out of arrogance, but because your name no longer argues against your own future. You will negotiate from clarity, not apology, clean proposals, clean numbers, clean timelines, because trusted people build processes that reflect integrity. You will pray differently, less begging, more partnering, because you remember whose child you are. You will expect outcomes that match what I promised, and stay steady when noise spikes, because you know a restored name does not chase rooms. Rooms recognize it. And hear this tenderly and firmly. Part of your reversal is the restoration of your public reputation where it has been smeared, and the restoration of your private confidence where it has been thinned. I am not only changing circumstances, I am restoring honor, repairing credibility, and making your name a safe place for blessing to land. Where slander stained, I will polish. Where neglect nicked, I will mend. where you signed agreements with fear to survive. I will walk you back through those doorways and show you how to live as one who is no longer for sale. Psalm 23:5 will be more than a verse. You will watch me prepare a table before you in the presence of those who labeled you, not to humiliate them, but to demonstrate what my mercy can do with a cleansed name. Do not be surprised when emails arrive addressing you with language that honors what I have been saying, when introductions shift from "this is someone trying" to "this is someone trusted," when old rooms reach out to repair what they broke, and when new rooms open because integrity travels faster than rumor. Angels are already moving through systems to correct files, to surface buried recommendations, to highlight your work where it has been ignored. But even before those things manifest, the most significant movement has begun. You are stepping out of the costume the enemy handed you and back into the garment I tailored. Isaiah 61:3 calls it the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, and it fits you. Breathe, my child. Feel the weight of that false name slide off your shoulders. Stand tall in the one I give you. This is the pivot that keeps the door from locking under your hand. This is the shift that stops you from arguing against your own miracle. This is the start of reversal's run in your life. Keep your mouth aligned. Keep your posture clean. Keep your gaze steady, because what I open next will read your name and say, "Access granted." My beloved child, listen now as I put language to why certain tides felt too strong for your ankles, why patterns circled you even when your personal discipline grew, why moments of almost felt scripted across decades. It was not always your personal weakness. Some of it was inherited pressure, residue from rooms you never entered, voices from generations past forming boundaries around your outcomes, invisible locks attached to a bloodline trying to convince you that new chapters cannot be written with your last name on the title page. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Ephesians 6:12 still stands. You are not wrestling against flesh and blood, and sometimes the hands you feel are the handprints of history. You have noticed it, the familiar sequence. Finances swell, then leak. Trust blooms, then breaks in the same month every year. Joy rises, then a nameless dread sits on your chest. Opportunities appear, then dissolve without clear cause. Chronic debt that did not begin with you knocks as if it knows your address by inheritance. Relocations right at the cusp of stability. A grief that returns on schedule. A family script where resignation sounds like wisdom because everyone just does what we do to get by. These are not mere coincidences. They are residue, old agreements, and stories spoken over a family line, sometimes with words, sometimes with wounds. Exodus 25 speaks of iniquity visiting generations, and Hebrews 12:24 answers with blood that speaks a better word. Hear me. The better word is speaking over you now. Step with me into the courtroom imagery you have felt in your bones but could not name. In the unseen, there are files, records, verdicts, old accusations that try to claim ownership over your outcomes. This family always breaks here. This name never crosses this income. The men do not stay. The women are caretakers but never cared for. Debt is the dowry. Instability is the inheritance. These phrases have sat like stamps on manila folders marked with your family crest. And when you reached doors, those files were pulled as if to check if you had permission to go beyond. Colossians 2:14 declares that I have canceled the record of debt that stood against you, nailing it to the cross. Do you hear the tearing sound? That is paper losing its power. Christ has redeemed you from every curse. Galatians 3:13, and that means those locks can be broken, not adjusted, not negotiated with, broken. The cross is not only forgiveness for personal sin, it is authority to end patterns. The blood of Jesus is not only comfort, it is legal tender in the courts of heaven, sufficient to overturn ancient verdicts and nullify ancestral liens. Where the accuser presents evidence, I present excellence, my son's obedience. Where the adversary cites history, I cite covenant. Where files read restricted, my decree stamps released. Where there was a chain of custody over your outcomes, I am issuing a transfer of ownership. Your life, your house, your future belong to me. I am appointing you, not as the one who merely survives under a weary script, but as the cycle breaker who rewrites what your family name will represent going forward. Joshua 24:15 echoes through your hallway. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Not just sing about me, not just attend my house, but align inheritance, decisions, boundaries, and budgets under my lordship. The mantle on you is not a spotlight only, it is a plow. You will cut a straight line through soil compacted by generations, and your children and your siblings and those who share your surname will walk behind you on a path that did not exist before you put your hand to it. Let me expose a few of the invisible locks so you can recognize them when they try to turn. An invisible lock says, "This is how our family is," and turns a trauma into an identity. An invisible lock normalizes scarcity by calling it humility and shames strategy by calling it pride. An invisible lock makes impulsivity feel like freedom and makes boundaries feel like betrayal. An invisible lock trains you to laugh at aspiration so you will not feel the pain of reaching. An invisible lock uses your loyalty against you, loading your calendar with assignments I never gave you so that you are too tired to build the altar that would end the cycle. Hear me. Christ has given you the key of David, Revelation 3:7. What I open no one can shut, and what I shut no one can open. Use it. How do you use it? Agreement and declaration, courage and practice. First, break agreement out loud with the old identity your bloodline handed you. Say, I sever every consent I or my family gave to labels of lack, instability, broken trust, and chronic debt. I belong to Jesus. His blood speaks over my name. Then replace it with what I have spoken. Say, we are a house of wisdom, a people of integrity, a lineage of builders and keepers, trusted and timely. Ezekiel 18:20 whispers, an often misunderstood mercy, no soul is doomed to repeat another's sins. And I add this, you are not sentenced to repeat another's outcomes. In me, lineage is not limitation. It is the land I give you to cultivate and heal. Next, act like the verdict has changed. Build altars of different behavior. When the familiar panic rises at the end of the month, do not rehearse the family script. Open your budget with me and prophesy order into your categories. Proverbs 24:27. When a relationship smells like the old pattern of taking without giving, do not negotiate with nostalgia. Set a boundary as worship. When an opportunity resembles an ancestral trap of quick money and long bondage, walk away as one who trusts timing more than adrenaline. When a chance to learn arrives, take it, even if no one before you did. Fill the forms, ask for the scholarship, read the contract, hire wisdom, not flattery. This is how cycle breakers move, not in public bravado, but in private precision. I am also moving on your behalf in places you cannot touch. I am sending angels to unarchive files, to expose errors recorded as facts, to surface overlooked credits and entitlements, to retrieve recommendations dust-covered on the desks of men. Records that once named your family high risk are being reevaluated under a new name, steward. Invisible embargoes are being lifted. Systems that learn to say no to you by reflex will begin to hesitate, then shift, then submit to the decree that bears your name. Numbers 23. 23 hums over you. There is no enchantment that can stand against what I have blessed. Expect some noise as locks snap, patterns protest before they die. Old appetites will call you back with nostalgia, wrapped as comfort. Ghost bills will surface to test if you still identify as always behind. Whispered accusations will suggest you are abandoning your people when you choose order, rest, and purpose. Do not be frightened. This is withdrawal pain, not an omen. Stand firm, speak firm, love firm, and stay firm. Isaiah 54:17 is your shield. No weapon formed against you will prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment, you shall condemn. Your mouth participates in the verdict. Seal this moment as a public sign between you and me. Open your mouth now and declare, the cycle ends with me. In Christ, my family line is aligned. What followed my fathers will not follow me unless it looks like favor. What visited my mother stops at my door unless it looks like mercy. My name is restored, my house is reset. My heirs will inherit blessing, not burdens. Write it where your eyes will find it. Write cycle breaker in the comments as an altar, not for attention but as agreement. Share this word with a cousin, a sibling, a friend who keeps saying, we always end up here, and in the sending, watch me strengthen your own spine. Now hear my promise and breathe it in. I am rescuing an entire family line through the choices you are making today. I am rewriting the history of all those who carry that same family name. What was meant to harm your house is turning for your good and for theirs. Genesis 50:20 is not only Joseph's testimony, it is about to be your collective one. The residue is rinsed, the locks are broken, the verdict is reversed. Walk forward, my beloved child, not only as one who escapes, but as one who establishes, so that when your children ask you why peace runs in this house like a river, you can smile and say, because we learned the better word and we agreed with it. No more delay. My beloved child, because your name is aligning and the old files are being torn, I must tell you what is happening behind the curtain so you do not misinterpret the quiet. Do not confuse stillness with inactivity. While you sleep and while you steady your heart, I have been scheduling your reversal. Appointments are being set in calendars you cannot access. Signatures are moving across desks where your file used to collect dust, and conversations that once ended with, we'll see, are being reopened with, when can you start? Habakkuk 2:3 breathes over this moment. There is a vision for an appointed time. Though it tarries, wait for it. It will surely come. It will not delay. You feel the edges of it now, that holy pressure, that hum that says something is about to click. It is more than a feeling. It is the machinery of heaven turning toward the day marked with your name. I have issued a decree concerning you, a radiant document with your name engraved on its heading, and under it a verdict, reversal, restoration, recognition. Stamps you cannot see are being pressed into wax, approved, released, cleared. Angels assigned to administrative detail are retrieving records misfiled under later, pulling threads left dangling, escalating dormant requests, flagging your case for immediate review. Old correspondence is being surfaced. Emails sent to wrong addresses are being redirected correctly. Lost recommendations are being found. Bills recorded as owed are being re-examined and found satisfied. Where the enemy used clerical confusion to stall you, I am sending precision. Psalm 102:13 whispers, you will arise and have mercy upon Zion, for the time to favor her, yes, the set time has come. The set time is not a guess. It is on my calendar. Understand what sudden means in my language. You have been in a long hallway of formation, and I have been reshaping your wings. You have been sowing in tears, building muscle in obscurity, pruning agreements with fear, and now the appointed time arrives like a compressed spring released. Isaiah 60:22 speaks to this rhythm. In its time I will hasten it. In its time, slow. I will hasten it, fast. Both are true. The slow was me readying you. The fast is me revealing what was prepared. When the door swings, do not be disoriented by acceleration. Harvests often feel like they came in a day because you see the fruit all at once. But roots were weaving strength beneath the soil when no one applauded. You will call it overnight, but heaven will call it on time. What will this look like? Not fantasy, function. Delayed decisions break free from the bottleneck and land with favor. Reviews that took months will resolve in days with outcomes you could not script. Calls come from numbers you once saved under hope. A proposal you thought went cold gets pulled from the bottom of a pile and placed on top with a note. Circle back. Contracts present themselves with terms that honor your value, not trap your future. Invoices marked overdue are paid with apologies and a little extra for the inconvenience. A reconciliation you stopped lobbying for occurs because I have been softening a heart you could not reach. A supervisor who never pronounced your name correctly will announce it clearly, connected to a promotion that does not require you to forfeit your soul at the altar of hurry. A bank error that created a chain of stress is acknowledged and corrected in your favor. A public narrative built on insinuation is reversed by truth surfacing, not because you raged online, but because I am your vindication. Isaiah 54:17 again. You shall condemn every tongue that rises against you in judgment. Expect convergence. Doors will open not in single file only, but in clusters, because I am redeeming time the devourer tried to swallow. Amos 9:13 sings over you. The plowman will overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes him who sows seed. The mountains shall drip sweet wine. Translation: processes that usually wait their turn will overlap in your favor. Opportunity: A will handshake with opportunity B. A recommendation will arrive the same hour. A decision maker opens your profile. The email and the call and the calendar invite will ping within a day of each other. Do not panic. This is not chaos. It is choreography. I have orchestrated an order inside the acceleration, and if you keep your ear with me, I will give you sequence. Step 1, then step 2. Which door first, which door next? Peace will be your traffic light. You will also notice a return of chances you thought you lost. I am the god of reissued tickets. A scholarship expires and then reappears with a new deadline because funding shifted. A publisher who passed sends a fresh request because the market changed. A partnership you declined out of integrity circles back with trust because integrity aged well. Do you see? Genesis 50:20 is the blueprint. What was meant to harm you, delay, detour, defamation, is being converted into the very mechanism of your elevation. The meeting that fell through taught you boundaries you will need on the bigger stage. The no you thought ruined everything saved you from a room that would have admired your work but exploited your soul. Now, with your name restored and your agreements cleaned, the same systems that once mishandled you will have to handle you correctly. Listen carefully. The word inevitable is sitting on my tongue over your life. Not because you will never face another war, but because my decree has matured. I have prepared a portion of blessing bearing your name for a very long time. There has been behind-the-scenes scheduling, calendar invites in the spirit, angels assigned to deadlines, alerts set for hearts that need to be in the right place at the right hour to favor you. When I say, now, no power configured against you can hold the file back. Revelation 3:7 has been your quiet promise. It becomes your loud reality. I open and no one shuts. I shut and no one opens. You do not have to pound the door. You have to walk through it when it swings. Partner with me in this moment by letting your mouth confirm what I have scheduled. Say, Father, I agree with your appointed time. I renounce hurry and despair. I receive acceleration without anxiety. My name is on the decree. Doors recognize me because I carry your name. Go ahead and let your fingers write appointed time, where you will see it again. Write scheduled for reversal as a banner over your day. Like this word as a sign of agreement, share it with someone who feels stalled. And in the sharing watch, your own expectation rise like the tide-lifting boats. It does not even touch. You may still hear noise, emails that confuse before they clarify, conversations that test your peace, a last-minute rescheduling that tempts you to think, here we go again. Do not narrate setback where I am making sequence. Breathe. Ask me for the next faithful step and take it. Acts 12 tells of chains falling and an iron gate opening by itself at the right street. Sudden, yes, but the angel still said, get dressed, follow me. Put on your readiness. Keep your documents updated, your numbers clean, your proposals prepared, your heart uncluttered. I am not only opening doors, I am causing rooms to recognize the authority on the name you bear. Soon you will testify, it happened so fast, and I will smile and answer, it happened right on time. The stamps are drying, the files are moving, the couriers are dispatched. What was meant for harm is being harvested for your good, and not in fragments, but in a flow. Stand in the stream, my beloved child. Let inevitability meet your agreement. The appointed time is not approaching, it has arrived. No more delay. My beloved child, hear me with urgency and tenderness. As the door opens, stop three things at once, because these three are saboteurs that try to meet you at the threshold: panic, self-condemnation, and talking yourself out of faith. Do not partner with them. They are not your helpers. They are the old gatekeepers disguised as your own voice. They trained you in the hallway. They will attempt to ride on your shoulder into the room. I am giving you authority to evict them now. First, do not panic. When movement begins, panic will say, hurry, decide now, fix it, you're behind. And in the rush, you will misread doors, mistake counterfeits for covenant, and interpret ordinary logistics as omens. Panic magnifies noise, shrinks wisdom, and confuses sequence. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. The enemy cannot close what I am opening, but he can bait you to sprint past the instructions that preserve your peace. Philippians 4:6 still stands. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication. With thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to me. When the email pings and your chest tightens, breathe and ask, what did you say? Return to the last clear word, not the loudest feeling. If the contract appears and your palms sweat, do not sign to silence adrenaline. Read with me, ask wise counsel, sleep once, then answer. Peace is your traffic light. Colossians 3:15. If it is green, go. If it is yellow, slow. If it is red, wait. When you feel pushed, step back. When you feel led, step in. I am not in the shove. I am in the shepherding. Second, do not engage in self-condemnation. The voice that whispers, you always mess this up. You don't deserve this. They will see you are not enough, is not my voice. Romans 8:1 thunders over you. There is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Shame is a sabotage script. It will cause you to reject good news as too good, to withhold your application because why try, to apologize for favor as if you stole it, to shrink in rooms I sent you to influence. Shame rigs the outcome by convincing you to disqualify yourself before a decision-maker ever sees your name. I do not require perfection to open doors. I require agreement with truth. When the old record plays, you failed last time, you'll fail again. Answer it with the record I wrote. Though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. Proverbs 24:16. Rise again. When a memory of your worst moment rushes in, right as an invitation arrives, cancel the ambush by confessing what is true. I am forgiven, I am learning, I am led, I am covered. Your past is not the judge of your future. My mercy is. Do not rehearse your weakness as prophecy. Remember Genesis 50:20. What they meant for harm, what even your own missteps contributed to, I am turning for your good. Let me rename the scene. Third, stop talking yourself out of faith. Your words are not background noise in the spirit. They are signatures on documents. Proverbs 18:21 declares that death and life are in the power of the tongue. Each nothing ever works out for me. Stamps denied on a file I have marked approved. Each I guess it's always going to be like this re-ups an old agreement you already broke. Each I can't afford to hope mortgages your tomorrow to fear. I am not telling you to pretend there is no wind. I am telling you to speak to it. Mark 11:23. Say to this mountain, be moved. When uncertainty rises, do not narrate defeat. Narrate destiny. Say, the appointed time has come. What was meant for harm will serve my elevation. I will not interpret by feelings alone. I will interpret by the word the Lord has spoken. Let your mouth be a gate that welcomes what I scheduled, not a latch that keeps it in the hall. Here is your simple rule of alignment when the swirl tries to return. When you do not know what to think, ask, what did God say? When your feelings shout, put them under the authority of my word. When options multiply, let peace and principle make the path. When you feel small, remember your name. When you are tempted to catastrophize, anchor your sentences in Genesis 50:20, meant for harm, turned for good, and say it out loud until your nervous system stands down. 2 Timothy 1:7 is your inheritance. I have not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. A sound mind is not loud, it is clear. Feed clarity with truth, not with headlines of doom you script for yourself. Practice this with me now. Panic rises, pause, inhale, my presence, exhale, pressure, pray, Father, lead me. Then proceed, not to everything, but to the next faithful step. Self-condemnation knocks, interrupt it. Say, shame, you are not my counselor. The blood of Jesus sets my record straight. I choose mercy over memory. Then act as one forgiven. Submit the application, send the email, prepare the room. Defeat speech tries to take the mic, mute it, replace it. I align with reversal. I agree with favor. My mouth is a gate of life. Not because you feel brave every second, but because agreement is a choice repeated until it becomes a reflex. Let me give you a practical triad to carry. Pause, receive, prophesy. Pause, so panic cannot drive. Receive, so shame cannot starve you of grace. Open your hands and let me wash your feet again. John 13:8. Prophesy, so silence does not default to the enemy's script. Speak what I spoke first. I am with you. I am for you. I am working all things together for your good. Romans 8:31, 8:28. When you catch yourself spiraling, do not label yourself faithless. Label the pattern familiar and choose differently. That is maturity. That is how cycle breakers behave at thresholds. I also counsel you to set pre-decisions that protect you in acceleration. Decide today that you will not answer major emails in a panic spike. You will give me an hour or a night unless I clearly say, now. Decide that you will not explain away kindness. You will receive it as seed of the new season. Decide that you will not use humor to curse your future. No more watch me mess this up punchlines. Humor will serve healing, not sabotage. Decide that you will not process destiny with people who feed your fears. You will gather wise, faith-filled voices who remind you of what I said. Hebrews 10:23. Hold fast the confession of your hope without wavering, for he who promised is faithful. Go ahead and let your fingers partner with your mouth. Write in a place your eyes will meet often. No panic, no shame, no defeat speech. I align with reversal. Type it where you will see it. Like this word as a sign that you agree to shift your soundtrack. Share it with someone who always texts you when they are spiraling, and in the sharing, watch me stabilize you both. Then open your mouth and declare right now, Father, I break agreement with panic. I renounce self-condemnation. I cancel every idle word I have spoken against my future. I receive a sound mind, a clean record, and a guarded tongue. My sentences are sanctified. My decisions are paced by peace. My heart will not sabotage what your hand is opening. Hear me. You are not too fragile for favor. You are not too late for timing. You are not too flawed for mercy. As you stop partnering with panic, shame, and defeat speech, you will hear the hinge of the door more clearly than the howl of the hallway. The door is opening. Step through with a steady heart, a clean conscience, and a mouth that blesses the very path I prepared for your feet. No more delay. My beloved child, the door is opening and your heart is steadying. Now I say to you with tenderness and command, make room. Preparation is your partnership. I release increase to the one who makes room and builds capacity to keep it. Do not live another day as if nothing good is coming. Rearrange your inner house and your outer house in faith. Isaiah 54:2 is your instruction in this hour. Enlarge the place of your tent. Stretch your curtains wide. Do not hold back. Lengthen your cords and strengthen your stakes. When you prepare, you prophesy. When you set the table, you tell the feast, I expect you. Begin with your interior rooms, because capacity starts in the soul. Guard your hours. Establish boundaries that preserve your peace before invitations multiply. Say, these are my holy times, sleep, Sabbath, study, stillness, and defend them as gates to your clarity. The reversal will draw new people and new responsibilities to your doorstep. Prepare to say yes without losing your center. Decide your non-negotiables in daylight so you are not negotiated out of them in a night of flattery. Proverbs 25:28 warns a city without walls is vulnerable. Your boundaries are not selfishness. They are stewardship of the gift I am placing within you. Now, ready your names and your numbers. Update what carries your identity in the marketplace and in community. Your resume, your portfolio, your bio, your website, your page, where the excellence of your work can be seen. Refresh headshots that tell the truth of who you are becoming. Gather references and request letters while the window is calm. Do not scramble when the call comes. Keep a one-page profile that introduces you with honor, not apology. This is not vanity, it is order. Proverbs 22:29. Do you see a person skilled in their work? They will stand before kings. Skill married to preparation moves you from wandering to placement. Treat your finances as a field to be cultivated, not as a storm to survive. Build a simple plan that aligns with wisdom, a budget that tells your money where to go, not a crisis that asks where it went. If debt has spoken to you like a jailer, answer with strategy, avalanche or snowball, but choose and move. Negotiate interest rates, call and ask for mercy, cancel quiet leaks that siphon future, subscriptions you do not use, conveniences that tax your tomorrow. Set aside a seed of margin, even if small, as your oil in the lamp, Matthew 25. Open a separate account for the new stream I am sending so you can track fruit and steward it without confusion. Save receipts. Keep records. Use envelopes if that is your language, or software if that is your tool, but bring your finances into light. Luke 16:10. faithful in little, faithful in much. The character that keeps the blessing is built dollar by dollar in the unseen. Organize your documents as an act of expectation. Keep your identification current, passports, licenses, certifications. Do not let expired papers prophesy an expired readiness. Gather your transcripts, tax records, W-9s, NDAs, contracts, proposals, insurance cards. Scan them. Create folders named with clarity. When a door opens and asks, "Can you send that now?" let your answer be, "I just did." Order disarms anxiety and honors opportunity. Proverbs 24:27 says, "Prepare your work outside. Get everything ready in the field, and after that, build your house." The field is administration. The house is the platform. Do first things first. Clean your spaces, the room where you create, the desk where you think, the bag you carry. Let them preach preparedness. Donate what belongs to a past season. Throw away what keeps you heavy. A clear surface is not cosmetic, it is invitation. When you declutter, you remove tripping hazards from your acceleration. I am not calling you to an aesthetic, I am calling you to capacity. Rehearse wisdom as surely as you rehearse answers. Draft standard rates and non-negotiables that protect integrity. Your scope, your timeline, your payment terms, your late fee clause, your no work without confirmation boundary. Create templates for proposals, invoices, and follow-ups. Decide in advance how you will respond to, "Can you lower your value?" Decide in advance how you will recognize a counterfeit. Pressure without peace, admiration without accountability, opportunity without alignment. 1 John 4:1. Test the spirits. Matthew 7:16. By their fruit you will know them. Prepare questions that you will ask before you say yes. What is the mission? Who is responsible? How are decisions made? What is the fruit of this house? What will this cost my soul? A prepared yes is safe. An unprepared yes is expensive. Tend your relationships as if they were bridges to your future, because they are. Romans 12:18, if possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Where the Spirit highlights a repair, move in humility. An apology sent today can remove a barrier tomorrow. Forgive debts that no one can repay emotionally. Clarify expectations with those who will walk with you so that increase does not become a wedge. Identify your counsel. 2 or 3 wise, faith-filled voices who can read contracts with you, pray with you, remind you of what I said when noise is loud. Isolation breeds impulse. Community steadies your hand. Make room physically for what you are asking me to entrust. If you have prayed for clients, prepare a client tracker. If you have asked for bookings, prepare a calendar flow. If you have asked for a home, begin to pack one box of faith and label it next. If you have asked for a child, create a drawer with folded clothes and a prayer over every stitch. If you have asked for a team, outline roles before faces appear. If you have asked for nations, renew your passport and keep a bag with essentials ready. This is not presumption, it is agreement. Guard your health as a treasury that carries promise. Build rhythms now, hydration, movement, sleep, prayer, that will sustain speed later. The blessing is not only a gift, it is a weight. I am not crushing you, I am training you to carry glory without collapse. New wine requires new wineskins. Luke 5:37-38. Your character is the wineskin. Humility, teachability, accountability, these stretch without tearing. Do not despise the small disciplines that seem unrelated to destiny. They are stitching the very fabric that will not split when favor fills it. Set your generosity in motion before the increase arrives. Decide what percentage you will give, where you will sow, how you will bless. When blessing comes, do not let surprise paralyze obedience. Malachi 3 speaks of windows of heaven. Windows pour where there is a channel. Be a channel. When I can move resources through you, I can trust more to you. Anticipate the convergence with patience. Acceleration will come. Pace will still be your friend. Keep using peace as your traffic light. Not every open door is yours, and not every closed door is loss. Ask me for sequence. I delight to give it. And when the hallway hums with options, remember the simple test. Does this require me to violate who I am in me, to gain what I think I need? If yes, it is not mine for you. I will never require you to trade your peace for promotion. Go ahead and let your faith take shape. Write, I make room where your eyes will land. Like this word as a sign you are moving from wishing to building. Share it with a friend who is ready to steward, not just receive. Then open your mouth and declare, Father, I prepare in faith. I enlarge my tent. I bring my finances into light. I set boundaries that guard my peace. I order my documents, renew my mind, and ready my hands. I will not live as if nothing good is coming. I build capacity to keep what you are releasing. Hear me. I am not only sending a gift, I am establishing a life. Stability is not the absence of storms. It is the presence of structure under favor. I am laying beams and foundations within you, so the house of blessing stands through wind and time. What was meant to harm you is becoming the frame of wisdom that protects you. Prepare with me. Make room. Keep oil in your lamp. And as you do, watch the appointed time meet a prepared vessel, and watch the blessing remain and multiply in your hands. No more delay. My beloved child, now that you have prepared your house and steadied your heart, open your mouth, because in this hour your voice is not decoration, it is activation. What you believe must be expressed to be established. Faith that hides remains seed in a packet. Faith that speaks is seed in the ground. Proverbs 18:21 still cuts true. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Revelation 12:10-11 exposes the courtroom of the unseen. The accuser hurls charges day and night, but they overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. Hear me. I have supplied the blood. You supply the testimony. When you speak in agreement with what I have decreed, you stop rehearsing harm and start partnering with good. Your declaration is not wishful thinking. It is alignment. It is you refusing contrary verdicts and signing my ruling into the record with your own mouth. Do you understand what happens when you declare? In the courts of heaven, words function like signatures on documents, like stamps on files. The enemy has long benefited from your silence and from your self-accusation, treating your own sentences as exhibits against you. No more. Genesis 50:20 is your legal precedent in this case. What they meant for evil, I use for good. When you lift that truth with your breath and set it in the air of your room, you issue a cease and desist to shame and despair. You revoke permissions you once gave to fear, and you invite angels to move on the strength of agreement. Psalm 103:20 says, My angels excel in strength, doing my word. Give them my word from your mouth, and watch motion begin. So we will not be vague. We will be precise. Stand where you are. Sit if you must, but do not be mute. Say this with me, and let it etch across the atmosphere as surely as ink marks a page. I will not partner with panic at the threshold of blessing. I will not trade my peace for speed, my clarity for clamor, or my birthright for a bowl of hurry. I will not speak curses over my own tomorrow, or rehearse defeat as if it were doctrine. I reject every false label placed on my name: unworthy, always late, unreliable, broke, overlooked. I reject the inherited scripts that told me this is just how it is for us. I reject the verdicts of shame that would keep me from taking my seat when the door opens. I receive the identity you speak over me: beloved, chosen, capable, trusted, restored. I receive the sound mind you promised. 2 Timothy 1:7. I receive the reversal you scheduled. I receive favor without fear, acceleration without anxiety, increase without loss of integrity. I agree with Genesis 50:20 over my life. What was meant to harm me becomes the engine of my elevation. I agree with the appointed time. Habakkuk 2:3. Though it tarried, it now hastens, and I walk in step with your sequence. I agree that my name is being restored and that doors will handle me correctly. I will not apologize for favor. I will not diminish my value to be accepted. I will not return to agreements I have already broken with fear and scarcity. I reject narratives that chain me to yesterday. I reject the inner critic that says you always mess it up. I reject the lie that it is safer not to hope. I receive cleansing from every idle word I have spoken against my future. I receive fresh vocabulary, gratitude, expectation, obedience, stewardship. I receive wisdom to recognize covenant and courage to decline counterfeits. I agree to steward what you give. Luke 16:10. Faithful in little, faithful in much. I agree to generosity as my rhythm, excellence as my culture, humility as my posture, and peace as my traffic light. I will not be shaken by noise. I will not be baited by urgency that is not yours. I will not let old cycles narrate a new season. I reject the accuser's case. I reject familiar spirits that mimic my voice. I reject the pressure to perform for rooms you sent me to serve. I receive angelic assistance, administrative precision, and divine choreography. I receive the reissued tickets, the corrected records, the redeemed time. I receive that convergence will not confuse me. It will confirm you. I agree that my mouth is a gate of life. I agree that my testimony is a weapon. I agree that my portion is prepared. My name is cleared. My path is ordered. No more delay. My child, as you speak, notice what changes first. The atmosphere inside you shifts. Then the air around you follows. Do not wait for goosebumps. Wait for alignment. Every time the old soundtrack tries to crawl back onto the stage, repeat this sequence. I will not, I reject, I receive, I agree. And tailor it to the moment in front of you. When the email arrives, declare peace before you reply. When the memory surfaces, declare mercy before you ruminate. When the opportunity presents, declare sequence before you say yes. Remember Mark 11:23, speak to the mountain, not about the mountain. Your sentences are not commentary. They are commands issued under my authority. Now I invite you to mark this moment in a simple act of faith. Go ahead and like this word as a sign that you agree. Let your finger be a witness to your mouth. Then seal it publicly. Write one declaration in the comments that you will return to this week. Write, what was meant to harm me is turning for my good. Or, I break agreement with fear, no more delay. Or, my mouth is a gate of life. I steward favor in peace. When you write it, you set a stone of remembrance where your eyes can find it again on a hard day. And do not keep this fire in one room. When you share, you become a vessel. When you forward this word to a friend who is weary, you turn your page into a door for another house. Luke 6:38 reminds you that the measure you use will be measured back to you. Generosity in hope multiplies hope. In the very act of sharing, you prophesy, I am a channel, not a cul-de-sac. Blessing moves through me, not just to me, and heaven trusts you with more. Finally, speak this over your day like a bell that calls everything into order. I will not bow to panic. I reject shame and defeat speech. I receive reversal, restoration, recognition. I agree with the appointed time. My words align with God's word. My name is restored. What was meant to harm me is turning for my good. No more delay. Say it now. Say it again tonight. Say it in the morning until your heart knows the path and your feet simply follow. I am watching over my word to perform it, Jeremiah 1:12. Give me your word on your lips, and watch the accuser fall silent as doors answer to the name you carry. My beloved child, lean in, for I would spare you unnecessary whiplash. The reversal I have scheduled for your name will not always arrive as a single crash of thunder. It will come in waves, pulses of grace that build upon each other until the shoreline of your life is rearranged. Do not despise the first ripple because it is not yet a flood. Do not call the early light too small because noon has not yet struck. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. When the turn begins, your first assignment is steadiness, for noise often rises when the breakthrough is about to become undeniable. You will know you are in the early swell by these signs. Notice them, name them, and do not argue with the goodness you asked me for. Unusual peace will visit you in places where adrenaline used to rule. The meeting that once knotted your stomach will feel surprisingly navigable, as if stillness has taken the driver's seat. Isaiah 26:3. Sudden clarity will cut through haze. Questions you looped for months will present a simple next step, like a path in a forest finally lit by morning. Restored motivation will wake you. Energy you thought was lost in the waiting will return, not as frantic grasping, but as ready hands eager to build. You will receive unexpected calls and messages. Voices you thought forgot your name will ask for your availability, your rate, your presence. You will hear, "We found your file. Is this still your number? Can we talk today?" Some doors will close fast, but notice what follows. Quick redirection. Where old rejections used to lead to long deserts, this time a no will bounce you into a better yes within days, sometimes hours. Favor will materialize in conversations, fees waived, timelines adjusted in your favor, gatekeepers speaking your name with warmth they did not show before. Papers that once sat dust-covered on the desks of men will be discovered. An angel I appointed will have turned a page, Psalm 103:20. These are not random upgrades, they are indicators that the unseen has shifted first. The docket was stamped in heaven, and now earth is adjusting. Genesis 50:20 is already at work beneath the surface. What was meant to harm you is being repurposed as instruction, platform, sympathy, leverage. Even your history becomes a resume of resilience that causes wise people to trust you more, not less. Do not narrate these signs as lucky breaks. Call them what they are, a turnaround in motion. Agree with them, stay with them. Yet hear me clearly. As the waves rise, last-minute noise will try to masquerade as new guidance. Confusion may spike at the edge of clarity, as if a fog machine turns on just as the curtain lifts. Do not chase the fog. Temptation to compromise will present itself, offers that ask for silence where you must speak, admiration that demands your boundaries as payment, shortcuts that cost your integrity. Relational distractions will flare, old arguments revived, misunderstandings multiplied. A sudden text from a chapter I closed asking, "Can we try again?" These are not confirmations that you are failing, they are evidence that the gate is real. Ephesians 6:12 reminds you, your struggle is not merely with flesh and blood, so do not fight shadows or accept bait. Nehemiah 6:3 is your pattern. I am doing a great work and cannot come down. When urgency pushes, step back. When peace leads, step in. Remember your traffic light, Colossians 3:15. Steadfast does not mean you never feel fear. It means fear does not get the steering wheel. You may feel the tremor of old anxiety. Let it remind you to return to your rhythms, not to surrender your mind to a spiral. Stay consistent in prayer, short, honest, frequent. Guard the hours we set aside. Read the word out loud until your inner weather clears. Speak the declarations we forged in the last hour. Maintain your wisdom. Keep your counsel close. Send the draft. Ask the question. Check the numbers. Protect your boundaries. Honor the non-negotiables you established in the calm. Do not renegotiate your soul in a storm of compliments. If you are unsure, do less, not more, until I give you light for the next step. Exodus 14:14 still stands. The Lord will fight for you. You have only to be still. Cultivate endurance for the waves, for even sudden reversals have a sequence. First, I turn the verdict in the unseen. Your name is cleared in the courts of heaven. The accusation loses oxygen and the lock is removed from the file. Then I send you internal confirmation, peace, clarity, motivation. This is the wind shifting before sails fill. Next comes visible proof. Emails, calls, contracts, deposits, open calendars, a yes where maybe lived for months. Finally, the full harvest, projects delivered with excellence, relationships that flourish in health, systems that support sustained increase. Do not mistake the second stage for the last, and do not sabotage stage 3 because stage 4 is not here by sunset. Habakkuk 2:3, though it tarried, it hastens. Wait for it, it will surely come. Galatians 6:9, do not grow weary in doing good, for in due season you will reap if you do not faint. Let me make this plain so your feet know the path. When an unusual peace settles, do not rush to fill the calm with noise. Let peace govern decisions. When sudden clarity arrives, write it down and obey the next faithful step. Do not try to leap 5 rungs because you can finally see the staircase. When motivation returns, channel it into the structures you prepared. Send the email, finish the portfolio, organize the files. Activity becomes acceleration when it is aligned. When unexpected calls come, answer with dignity, not apology. Your name is being handled correctly. When a door closes quickly, praise me and ask, show me the redirection. Then follow the green light that appears within 24 to 72 hours. When favor marks a conversation, respond without shrinking, receive without explaining away the kindness as an error. And when the last-minute noise rattles, rehearse our triad. Pause, receive, prophesy. Pause so panic cannot set your price or pick your path. Receive, remember I am still washing your feet. Let mercy silence shame. Prophesy, lift Genesis 50:20 again. Let your mouth sign my decree into the hour. Say, what was meant for harm is serving my good. I am steady. I am led. Repetition is not doubt. Repetition is training your nervous system to trust the truth. I also counsel you to keep record during the waves. Write down small tokens, the waived fee, the kind word, the swift redirection, and revisit them when the sea kicks up. Build a shelf where your testimony sits within reach. It is bread for strength on the days the wind argues with your memory. Limit inputs that inflame panic. Do not doom scroll destiny. Stay generous even in the swell. Generosity keeps your heart from clutching and tells heaven you are a channel, not a cul-de-sac. Rest on purpose. Sleep is warfare when anxiety wants you exhausted. Hear me. You will not miss your wave. You are not too late for the set I am sending. The schedule I authored has you in mind. And I am meticulous in every stage. When you feel the lift beneath your feet, do not apologize. Stand, breathe, and ride with me. Noise is a decoy. Steadiness is your sail. The turnaround has begun, and it will not fizzle into another almost. Stay steady, my beloved child. What was meant to harm you is already turning into the very current that carries you forward. No more delay and no more surrender to the howl of the hallway. Peace is your portion, wisdom your path, endurance your crown, and in a moment you will look back and say, it became undeniable. My beloved child, the moment you felt beneath your feet has become a tide. Now hear my decree and receive what I have scheduled. Lift your head. I speak as the one who knows your frame and commands the gates. The court has convened. The file has been opened. The accusations have been weighed and found wanting. I reverse the verdict against your name. I cancel the sentence of delay. I order a public correction to private mislabeling. Hear me. Now is the time. No more delay. What they meant for harm, I mark as the very instrument of your elevation. Genesis 50:20. I decree your name is restored, pronounced with honor in rooms where it was once dismissed, spelled correctly on records, spoken with warmth by gatekeepers who formerly held you at a distance. I decree invisible locks snap open, bloodline residues broken by the blood of my son, generational ceilings shattered, covenants not from me nullified by covenant with me. I decree opportunities that slipped through your fingers circle back with interest. Emails resent, offers reissued, calls returned, yeses released that were suspended in the air over your life. I decree accelerated timing under ordered steps. No frantic grasping, no counterfeit urgency, but true speed that feels like wind under wings I have reshaped. Isaiah 40:31. Now is the time, no more delay. I decree systems start to serve you. Files retrieved from dust-covered shelves, stalled applications nudged forward by hands I have stirred, contracts discovered at the bottom of inboxes with favor attached. I have appointed an angel to handle the administrative corridors you cannot see. Psalm 103:20. Expect doors to answer you correctly. Expect records to reflect truth. Expect corrections to come with apologies attached. The very path that once bruised you will now carry you. The door is not merely open, it will handle you with honor. I decree your inner life steadies. Panic loses its microphone, shame loses its script, fear loses its leverage. Your sleep deepens, your shoulders relax, your breath returns to rhythm, your discernment sharpens. You will distinguish flattery from favor, similar from same, almost from appointed. Your tongue will refuse to narrate defeat. Your mouth becomes a gate of life. Proverbs 18:21. You will answer invitations with dignity rather than apology. You will set your price with peace. You will recognize the counterfeit and decline it without drama. I decree finances align, leaks are sealed, strategies stick, wisdom governs. Income streams open that match your integrity. Debt bows to order and diminishes under steady, spirit-led plan. Fees are waived, rates are negotiated, mercy is granted, and generosity flows through you like a river that refuses to run dry. Luke 6:38. You will not fear the numbers. You will steward them. You will not serve money. Money will serve mission. Your hands become trustworthy. Your accounts become honest witnesses to increase. I decree relationships realign. Covenant friends appear and stay. Shallow alliances fade without warfare. Reconciliation comes where I will it, and boundaries stand where I set them. Your voice grows both gentle and strong. You will apologize where needed, and you will not apologize for becoming who I said you are. You will be safe to love and safe to lead. You will be courageous to close doors that cost your soul, and tender to open doors I am redeeming. I decree purpose clarifies, assignments rise from fog, sequence becomes plain, and the next faithful step is within reach. Doors open at once without chaos. You will walk through them in order, not in frenzy. Your gifts find their lanes. Your excellence finds its stage. Your message finds its people. You will not shrink when your name is called. You will not defer your day to another generation. You will go where I send, speak what I give, and do what I command with joy. Now is the time, no more delay. Now pray with me. Let your own mouth seal what I have spoken. Say this out loud. Father, in the name of Jesus, I receive your decree over my life. I step out of fear and into faith. I renounce agreement with panic, shame, and defeat. I break partnership with every false label spoken by me, spoken over me, or spoken through my bloodline. I receive the restoration of my name. Prince of Peace, guard my mind. I receive the sound mind you promise. 2 Timothy 1:7. I receive peace that surpasses understanding. Philippians 4:7. I invite you to reset my nervous system, calm my inner weather, and wash my thoughts with truth. Heal the memories that feed dread. Sanctify my imagination to picture futures you authored, not scenes of collapse. I receive deep sleep, timely rest, clear focus, and steady emotions, orchestrated by your Spirit. Isaiah 26:3. Jehovah Jireh, order my finances. I receive provision with wisdom. Give me strategy for debt and diligence for daily stewardship. Open work that aligns with my calling, close work that drains my soul. Teach my hands to build, my heart to give, my eyes to recognize opportunity without compromise. Let income streams open that were delayed. Let records be corrected. Let overdue payments be released. I choose generosity as my rhythm. I choose integrity as my culture. I choose gratitude as my language. Make me faithful in little and faithful in much. Luke 16:10. Father, sanctify my relationships. Give me discernment to see hearts, patience to maintain peace, courage to set boundaries, and humility to repair where I have wounded. Restore what you desire to restore. Release what you are not in. Send covenant people who sharpen me, cover me, and walk with me. Remove counterfeits masked as helpers. Protect my house from division, my partnerships from confusion, and my team from distraction. Let honor be our atmosphere and truth our bond. Romans 12:18. Lord of the harvest, ignite purpose within me. Open doors that you prepared with my name on them. Close doors that are not mine, even if they glitter. Fill me with boldness to speak when you nudge, and wisdom to be silent when you say wait. Acts 4:29. Give me excellence for assignment, favor for access, and endurance for the long obedience. Align my pace to your appointed time. Habakkuk 2:3. Make me brave to take my seat at tables you have set. Make me faithful to serve those you entrust to me. By the blood of Jesus, I break every invisible lock tied to my family line. I forgive those who harmed me. I release them into your justice, and I release myself from their prison. I declare that Christ has redeemed me from every curse. Galatians 3:13. I receive the blessing of Abraham, identity, inheritance, and influence, so I can be a blessing. I welcome angelic help assigned to my case, the handling of records, the surfacing of files, the aligning of schedules. I agree with Genesis 50:20 over my story. What was meant for harm is turning to my good and the good of many. My pain becomes bread for others. My testimony becomes a map for those who come after me. I will not hoard my story. I will steward it for healing. I will live to see redemption multiplied beyond my house. In Jesus' name, amen. My child, I have heard you. I have signed what you have spoken. The seal of my Spirit is upon you, and the decree is active. Now is the time. No more delay. What rose against you loses its footing. What carried you through the valley becomes the bridge for others. Your testimony will be a resource. Sermons will be written by your survival. Strategies will be formed from your scars. Songs will be sung because you decided not to faint. Like Joseph, you will say, "You intended harm, but God intended it for good, to save many lives." Genesis 50:20. Your name will be a refuge. Your house will be a distribution center of hope. Your table will feed the weary. Your wisdom will prevent losses in other homes. I am not merely rescuing you. I am reversing the verdict, restoring your name, and turning intended harm into undeniable good. Go ahead and mark this moment, like this word as a sign that you agree. Let your finger join your voice. Share it with 3 people who need the decree of no more delay over their house. And do not drift. Subscribe and turn on notifications so we can keep walking in step as a community of faith, building endurance, practicing wisdom, and celebrating every wave of reversal together. I will keep sending you bread for the journey and strategy for the doors that open at once. Stay close. Now lift your hands and receive one more time. Peace to your mind, order to your steps, favor to your name, strength to your frame, wisdom to your decisions, courage to your yes, protection to your path, prosperity to your hands, multiplication to your seed, restoration to your years. Now is the time, no more delay. Hallelujah. Heat, heat, heat. Hey, hey, hey. Go in peace and watch it become undeniable.